This video about whole numbers looks at order of operations. So why do we need order of operations rules? Well, words, symbols, and numbers are only meaningful if they're interpreted correctly. We have established rules in maths about what is correct so that we all do maths consistently. Because if we can't all agree on what is correct, if we can't be consistent about it, then the numbers and the words and the symbols and the arrangements won't mean anything. Generally, we follow the rules, which we can see by the mnemonic BIMDAS. There are other acronyms for the same type of notation, like some people might see PEMDAS, and there's some other ones as well, or BIDMAS. There's some other ones, but all of the acronyms that you've probably come across mean the same type of notation. There are other forms of notation. Reverse Polish notation is the most common one that follow different rules, but they're far less common. And you don't need to worry about them until you get to much higher levels of maths. Order of operations. So we use the acronym BIMDAS to help us remember what order we need to approach the sums in. So first we do anything in brackets gets done first. If there's more than one calculation within the bracket, then follow the BIMDAS rules within the brackets. So sometimes you can get brackets within brackets within brackets. You just keep going in and following them in order, and then once you've done whatever's in the brackets, then you come out and then you look for what goes next. After that, you then do anything with indices. So anything that's exponential or to the power of, or anything that's raised to anything, that comes next. After that, we have the M and the D, which sometimes you see written as D and M. Sometimes you see BIMDAS written as BIDMAS, because we do multiplication and division together, and we do them left to right generally. Next, we get AS or SA, which is addition and subtraction, which must be done left to right, particularly when it comes to subtraction. Now we're going to have a look at some examples of how to apply this. So now we're going to look at some examples. Calculate the following, showing all steps of your working out. So if we look at the first one, it says 15 minus bracket 10 minus 4. So then I have to remember my little acronym, BIMDAS. So the first thing that I need to do is brackets. So when I look at the brackets, 10 minus 4 is 6. And then I just still write the 15 minus out the front to say, I haven't dealt with that yet, I still need to do it. So the sum that I now have to deal with is 15 minus 6, and 15 minus 6 gives us 9. And if I do a quick check of that on my calculator, 15 minus bracket 10 minus 4, close bracket, the answer is 9. So our answer is correct. Now, if we have a look at example 2, I've got 6 minus 2 times 3. So again, I think of our little acronym, BIMDAS. Now, brackets, in this case, there's no brackets, so I go on to the next one. Indices, there's no indices. Multiplication and division, yes, we've got 2 times 3. So we leave the 6 minus because we're not doing anything with that, and then the 2 times 3 is going to be 6, and we then do addition and subtraction left to right. So 6 minus 6 will give us 0. If I check that on the calculator, 6 minus 2 times 3, the answer is 0. So our answer is correct. For example 3, we're going to look at something that's a bit more complicated, so we're going to need a little bit more space. Okay, so again, we go back to BIMDAS. So the first thing that we need to do is the brackets. So leave the rest of it and just deal with the brackets first. So 6 times, and then I'll put the plus 4 squared because we're going to come to that later. So within the brackets, 10 minus 2 is 8. So now the calculation that we need to do is 6 times 8 plus 4 squared. So on the next thing that we need to do, there's no more brackets. So the next thing that we need to do is I for indices, which means we need to do this 4 squared. So again, I just leave the 6 times 8 by
leave it alone because we'll come to it later. And then that will give me plus 16 because 4 squared is 16. Okay, I've got no more indices, so now I can look at multiplication and division left to right. And so I now need to do 6 times 8. So 6 times 8 is 48, and then I just leave the plus 16. Now I need to do 48 plus 16, but they're not really nice numbers, so what I'm actually going to do is rearrange them to make them easier numbers. 48 is almost 50, which is an easier number to work with. So if I can split 2 off 16, then that will get my 48 up to 50. So what I'm actually going to do is split 16 up into 2 plus 14. So then I can split this up. Sorry, I can then add the 48 plus 2 to 50 plus 14. And remember, I'm allowed to do that under the commutative law and the associative law. So once I've done that, I can then, that's an easier sum. 50 plus 14 is an easier sum to do than 14 plus 16, even though it'll give us the same answer. So 50 plus 14 will give me 64. Now, there's been lots of steps to this calculation, so usually I'd go back and check each line to make sure that I've done it correctly, or you can stick it in your calculator to see if you've got the correct answer. So 6 times bracket 10 minus 2 close bracket plus 4 squared gives me 64, which is the answer that we got here. So our answer is correct.
In summary, follow the BIMDAS rules, work left to right when required, and write your working out on each line to keep track of where you're up to.